This is the Monday morning box office quarterbacks
Yes.
on August 4th today after a busy-ish weekend
Yeah, active,
coming
that's for sure. Yeah.
coming up. Doors are open, people coming in.
Welcome, welcome.
We will let everyone get comfortable and get their seats for just a minute, and we will start uh, imminently. So,
Yes.
um, a lot to say, including some the a debate we may have later on.
We might, yes.
Our opinions diverge on a certain issue. Okay,
Yeah.
we have a
Think
quorum
we
now.
have a quorum here. Starting off
So
Monday morning quarterbacks here. All right.
so top of the pile, once again, is Fantastic Four, and there is
Uh,
debate online about whether the 66% decline and I think even bigger international is par for the course or catastrophic. Where do you stand on that?
Not good. This is didn't. I mean, we had two new movies coming in, and Naked Gun and Bad Guys, but I wouldn't say either of them were major competition here, especially
Mm.
for that genre. So it wasn't like, oh, it had Christopher Nolan coming in the next week or something like that. So that excuse is out. It still had the IMAX, so it wasn't like it lost the IMAX, which is also the other factor that can again put a real dent in it, not through the fault of the movie, but just because you're losing $25 tickets out of your equation. So that's not there. You look at the comps. I mean, Captain America 4, which was minus 68, a film that was really not liked. Ant-Man and the Quantumania, minus 69%. Thor 4, minus 67%. It's pretty close to all those movies. And Superman was minus 53. Guardians 3 was minus 48. It's nowhere near those movies. So I'm just looking at the math on that. I've not seen the film, admittedly. I know people who have and weren't that crazy about it, but that's just obviously anecdotal. But that's not great. That's not good. And the international, as we mentioned last week, is weaker than the domestics. I mean, I don't know what the drop was exactly, Rich. I didn't see that number, but
Mm.
overall, the movie's making more in the U.S. than internationally, which for a Marvel film is pretty rare. So that's what's on my radar. What are you seeing out there?
Yeah, I don't have a good explanation for this here. I was all set to blame international and continue my rant from last week
It's
about
out there. It's a
the
part
world,
of it, Richard. I'm not saying it's not, but
but that doesn't explain the fall off in America. So
yeah.
uh, the you know I superhero fatigue. Uh, we declared it dead a few weeks ago, but I there what there is not is a huge reservoir of people roaring out of their houses saying, "Oh my God, a new superhero movie, a new Marvel movie." Let me get to that.
Right. It's
Let
an
me
event. I have to be there.
yeah,
Right. Yeah.
get all my friends again. So this may be kind of a standard uh level, but that is not where Marvel had been playing for so long. So maybe our expectations are skewed by it. I think the movie's skewed a little young, a little PG.
But that's the thing. The families were lower last week. And I think that's actually a factor that's playing in here because the opening weekend, this is opening night data, so take it as you will, but there was 70% male, which is pretty heavy on a skew. And that reads to me like a lot of fanboy dudes and not like, oh, a lot of dads coming out with their kids. That's more of that ilk. And those audiences, Richard, tend to come out big on the opening weekend. And then, all this stuff plays into the things we saw last week. I know you mentioned it was very PG adjacent movie, but the families and seemingly are not coming out. And again, that having
Yeah,
that loss also kind of signals that, yeah, you're not getting the families coming out for this movie. That hasn't been the word of mouth on this movie, even though, as you said, it is something you could bring the younger kids to, it sounds like.
yeah. I mean, I guess if you're gonna get families, you got to market to families. You can't
I
just.
think they tried. I don't know that just didn't resonate. I don't know.
I mean, but if
Uh,
you're marketing it as a superhero movie, you can't just hope that everyone will
Yeah.
find out that like, oh, it's a superhero movie, but it's good for families, so
Yeah.
it's fine to
But
bring your 6-year-old.
yeah, yeah. But it is, so Thunderbolts tapped out just a little under 400 million back in May. Captain America about the same. Deadpool's been the only thing, but again, Deadpool lives by its own rules. I don't count that, in the Marvel land. But are asking me the new reality. Superman is doing better, and that was again a revival, fresher, kind of more that event thing you just mentioned, Richard. That did have, I think, some of that, and the movie's playing very well. We'll get into the legs on that in a minute, but it is still holding up quite well. Again, in the U.S., the internationals being weak, but I just think I know the Marvel event era hasn't really returned since 2022. It had we had Guardians 3, which was the last movie there. You had Doctor
And Dead,
Strange had Deadpool, which again I'm putting in a different category. But
yeah,
if you're talking and this isn't a low franchise, Fantastic Four wasn't like an Ant-Man movie. No offense to Ant-Man, but it's like it has a little more cachet as far as I understand it. It wasn't a lower tier Marvel property, I would say, at this point. So I don't know. X-Men would be the only thing I'm like, maybe that'll get people excited at some point. What's new to do with Marvel, Richard?
yeah. After how many what movie number is this in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Let's say upper 30s at this point. I'm
Yeah.
not the Marvel, so I'd say it's somewhere up there.
Well, what they're going to do is take a whole year off, which is a good choice.
Exactly, right.
And then we have Spider-Man and 2 Avengers movies. So that'll kind of be
Yeah.
if those 2 don't do it, then
I think we have a resounding answer. Yeah. You mentioned Spider-Man. That's actually because Spider-Man generally does do better. It is a little different. So I think that's actually a good point. If that one, with Tom Holland coming back and the new suit got revealed this week, whatever, if that one shows signs of, that would be something. But if you're Marvel, I mean, it's a little bit of that's great for Sony, it's a Sony property in Spider-Man. But if you're looking at what to do after the Avengers here, if those movies do well, it's, I think, Richard, maybe I'm getting the thing about your event thing where people are just, there was a core millennial audience who drove that, in the 2010s, and now they all have kids and aren't going out to to the event with their friends every time. They're like, yeah, I can't go. I have a 5-year-old at home. I have a 10-year-old at home. It's just a different proposition where before they were married, didn't have kids. It was the thing you went with your friends. It could be some of that, I don't know. It's just it's a theory.
And with that audience, they really built it up over all those movies of the stories are attached, and you got to see Iron Man is on the same screen with Scarlet Witch or whatever the heck they did. They put and people are talking about like this isn't a first tier Marvel title. Well, neither was Iron Man or Thor. Certainly not Doctor Strange.
Right.
So I mean, none of these were really other than Spider-Man was sort of the only
right. And maybe against Captain America, but again, I'm not the either way. Yeah.
Daredevil is a first tier Marvel character in comic books, but
right.
That's not
that didn't translate quite well. Yeah, but TV is fine, doing well on TV.
I maybe this is just like, as we say, it's 30 films in. Like, so if this was if this was Avengers Part 30,
right?
What would you be expecting of it at that point?
Right.
Like what? I mean, maybe this is the natural life cycle of and either they have to completely reinvent it, and I think they've introduced new characters. They've never reinvented the genre from what they were doing. I think they've brought in new people. They've had 2 things, but this Thunderbolts isn't notably different in sort of form and style than Doctor Strange or Thor or whatever. Right. So maybe this is just the natural place that you get to after 30 movies.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is gonna, we're still at 370 million, with so this will get to 500 to 600 million, let's say global, which is again not a bad business. You maybe have to watch your spending in the future a little more accordingly. If like, okay, these films aren't going to do $800 $1 billion, they're going to do more 400 or 600 million. You have to kind of figure that out in the production process, but not a bad business to be in. It's just a different business than the one you had before, I guess, so
Adjust costs accordingly.
yeah.
I mean, would what would be making me a little anxious is that the Avengers film, the first time around, the Avengers films, you had really built up all these Thor and Iron Man
Storylines and
and
right.
Captain
Yeah.
America, and look, you were going to see them all together. So now you're going to see the Thunderbolts and the new Captain America that you don't sure
Right.
who,
Yeah.
and they're all gonna. So I'm not sure. I'd be a little nervous about what the pitch of this new Avengers is.
Yeah. Robert Downey Jr. is a new character. What are you talking about, Richard? Come on. I mean,
Yeah,
no longer
the,
Iron Man. So there you go.
the Robert Downey Jr. you loved now.
Yeah.
Totally different character.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is there any precedent for that? Like a person playing two roles within one series? Like,
I mean,
in old westerns, was there like
well, that's your category. You would have to give me that one. But
I'm trying to think of it. Is there like a cowboy whose character was killed off? I mean, they didn't kill them off very much, but
right.
But who came back as the villain, or maybe like a TV western or something. But
the Don Johnson got amnesia once on Miami Vice and became a drug dealer. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it's a big move. It's a big bet.
Maybe it'll be great, but
maybe it'll be great.
I don't know if this sort of looks and feels like the last 33 Marvel movies. When it comes, I'd be nervous.
Yeah.
All right. All right. I look forward to a year of not talking about superheroes.
Exactly. Bottom line, we'll move on from the excellent point to end on, Richard. Yeah. Otherwise, Bad Guys 2 came in 22 million, kind of about the same as the last one, Richard. Not a lot of breaking news on this one. Seems to be fine. I don't know.
I mean, this is a nice franchise for DreamWorks Animation. Keep it going. I feel on these kind of like second tier animated titles, like, the movie is just a loss leader for a whole product line and all sorts of other things that come after this, and they're basically putting out an advertisement for it, and within that, a $22 million opening for a kind of second tier movie is fine.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, Universal had like Dogman, like they have these like, as you say, not the Minions movies, but they have this business that's like, makes some money and has, gets the other IP going. And, like it has, the DreamWorks in particular, I guess, that was a DreamWorks movie as well. Has
Boss
this business
Baby
now.
as a whole.
Well, Boss Baby, that's man. How they're not making more of those movies is for as much of a hit on Netflix, that thing is, it's stunned me that they haven't really brought that back theatrically, because that movie just cooks on Netflix. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I think Netflix must be paid writing
but at this point, Universal better be getting a nice check for that. Yeah. So we'll leave that there.
I wonder how long that runs, if that ever comes over to Peacock at some point.
I think there could be even not exclusive windows. It's just, it doesn't matter. Like it's on Netflix and that's where people watch it. But Netflix probably does pay a nice check, I would imagine, to Universal, because that's been on there for years. That hasn't been that's been a long time. So
yeah,
they found something there.
So the Bad Guys could do a lot of different things with it.
Could do some stuff on Peacock, some other things like that. So it does the job. All right, well, let's get to the main affair here, Richard. The Naked Gun.
Comedy is back.
Comedy is back. Hallelujah.
So I will say I went to the AMC Century City this weekend. It's not on the premium screens, so I went to see it. I went to see it in the one I had to get was open captions screen. Which didn't really bother me in the end. I thought it would, but it didn't. Was 1:30 was very close to sold out at a 1:30 show. 29 minutes before the after show time, before the movie started.
You were AMC, right? AMC theaters. Yeah. Okay.
With with the Google ad in the middle, which I thought would elicit boos, but as it turned out, only about a third of the audience was in their seats at that point. So
Problem solved.
no one was really paying attention or doing it. So they're effectively killing off the trailer the trailer time there. So
A bit, yeah.
the most effective tool for marketing that movies have is being destroyed.
For the ad money, right?
They are dismantling so that they can show one commercial, and so that they can squeeze in
Yeah,
all sorts of other stuff in this 29 minutes. So
yeah.
that's a good call.
Going well.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure that'll work out great.
Hmm.
And then I saw a movie. I took my 13-year-old son and his friend,
Okay.
and I have not been in a theater where the theater laughed so much from start to finish of the movie.
All right.
The consistent, unbreaking laughter throughout,
Okay.
which was experience. I was trying to remember the last time I saw that a full theaters of people laughing at a movie for a new release, and I couldn't think of the last time
I would say
I experienced.
Deadpool. For Deadpool was laughter throughout the
Yeah,
movie. I think that Deadpool and Wolverine. Sorry, but yeah, the last Deadpool movie, 100%, 100%.
yes, Deadpool is that.
I
But
laughed through that one.
yeah, but just a pure comedy that
Yeah,
a was an action comedy. It wasn't rom com. It
family, right?
was
Yeah,
family comedy. It
no
wasn't
slash, no slash on that. Just comedy,
wasn't dramedy. It was just
right?
a comedy,
Yeah,
and
87 minutes. Yeah,
haven't had one of those in a long time. Uh,
yeah.
you
I'm
you
glad.
were less you're less
You
excited.
know, yeah. I mean, I saw the premiere, which was a hot room, and certainly had, in New York City here before it came out. I went with a fellow Gen Xer who's also, kind of, I think, early 50s. It's 51, I think. So we both, the first 15, 20 minutes were like, felt like the comedy that, like, okay. And then I just, the joke count for me just went more. And I'm like, you're missing. I just, and I went back on Saturday afternoon, watched it, the original here in my movie, and I'm having rose colored glasses. My looking back was the original that consistent in its humor throughout the movie. And I was like, yeah. And this movie just, again, I think we disagree on this. But I think maybe I'll go rewatch this new movie. Maybe I missed something. I don't know. But there are a lot of periods where I was just like, could have used another punch up here.
See,
Nothing, I don't know.
I didn't feel that. I felt the laughs
Okay.
kept coming. I mean, you're comparing it to one of the greatest comedies of all time. So,
Well, all right. But,
that
sorry, it's called the Naked Gun. I'm going to, that's your comp. You have a comp. No excuses here, you know.
to take that and I was very pleased that a few things about it. First of all the jokes from the trailer were in the first 15 minutes of it, which
That was thankful. Yeah.
was
Yeah.
a
That's
really
always a
great.
tough one.
Yeah. So Emily Shirley asked what film we're talking.
Naked Gun. Naked
The
Gun.
Naked Gun is what we're talking about. Emily. So there was that. Second, they didn't just redo the jokes from the original, which a lot of the remakes they'll just sort of restage their original jokes.
Yeah.
And it was a new script and new laughs, and that there was no pause for a group hug or for
No, it was the spirit of the film. Yes. Pure comedy. We're talking all laughs all the time. Yeah. There's nothing else going on here at all.
So given all that, I thought it was about as funny as you can make with starting from that
Okay.
premise and moving
Fair enough.
forward.
I just thought there should have been more jokes in it than, I was looking at it. I said the ratio wasn't as high as I would have hoped. I'll put it that way. So I know it's a high bar, but I will say also, Richard, and I don't know, but I'm curious for you as the Angelino here of the two of us.
Yeah.
The original Naked Gun, I think the second, they're very LA movies, and I don't know that it's set there. I mean, obviously the Angels and, the Dodger Stadium, or Angel Stadium. So a lot of, it's very LA. this, I mean, it was shot in Atlanta, and it's just like, and it felt like it. It was a dark movie. Like there's a lot of like dark clubs and sound stages. The finale is in a wrestling thing that's very dark. And the first,
Well, so
going back, the first one was like you're at the docks. It's very LA sunny, and this was
well,
dark. Not that
so
that's a problem, but it just threw me off a bit.
to the first one, what they're playing off of is Dragnet.
Right? Yeah,
So a lot of that really comes from
I guess you're right.
just
Yeah,
sort of
that's a good point.
you're doing Dragnet, and Dragnet has no
Right.
meaning for anyone anymore. So
Right.
it's
Yeah.
I don't know. They're yeah. I mean, it's not. It goes by very quick. So it's
I know. It was just a feeling of just like, oh, this is, not that it had to, but I mean, make your own new movie and I don't have to do it. But it was just for a movie that, for me, for a guy who grew up in Jersey, it screamed LA to me. I mean, it just being funny and hilarious. It just also felt like a very LA movie. And this one, I was like, oh, yeah, this didn't have that feeling at all. And I looked it up and I'm like, oh, yeah, it was shot in Atlanta. I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense. So there you go.
well. I'll tell you the one thing that the original Frank Drebin, not to get too deep into this, but the Dragnet stuff, like this sort of by the books,
Right.
plainclothes detective, actually was a species that existed in Los Angeles, even at the time of Naked Gun. Like was kind of on its last legs at the time in the '90s. Like those people still exist. I don't think
Okay.
that world and what Liam.
Yeah.
I don't think that is still.
You're probably right. Yeah, I mean they updated it. Yeah, yeah. Just to notice, but
Yeah.
well, we do have Scary Movie 6 coming next summer, Richard. So we'll have a. I'm very curious to see what they do with that. Genre where you have so many things to. Again, this wasn't really a parody of anything new. Like it wasn't a direct parody.
That was another thing I really appreciate about it, that
I
it
did too. It
wasn't just a lot of jokes about some TikToker or
right, or recent cop movie,
yeah.
or yeah, exactly right. But Scary Movie is very much you have to be making of current horror. So this will be a new iteration of that. That's coming out next June. So I'm very curious to see what that does. Again, speaking to a younger, again, this is Pamela Anderson and Liam Neeson. I broke down the demos in the Wake Up. Skewed older.
Yeah.
You and me were kind of who showed up for the most part. But Scary Movie needs to be younger and fresher, and horror's a very young genre of an audience goer. So I'm actually, this gets me ready for that a little bit, where I want to see what they do with that next summer as well, to kind of keep this hopefully revival of like, all right, you like Naked Gun, we have another one for you this summer. Like it's nice that it's not just a one and done, Richard. That's
No.
it. So happy to see that.
We shall see, and we'll see if I'll be interested to see if word of mouth helps us.
Yes, the social responses. Yeah,
So,
agreed.
all
right. Superman is still chugging along here. Your truth, justice, and the American way is still. I mean, here's the thing about this. I mean, it's going to be the third biggest movie so far this year in the U.S. It's not going to quite hit 400 million, but it's going to get up there. Minecraft and Lilo both did 420, but this is a very solid U.S. number. Like it's it landed. The international's still going to come up short and going to keep it below probably 700 million total, which is fine, but. That's what the real handcuffs are. But the performance here is great. I think I really don't see anything that's any red flags on this one outside of the international.
They certainly lived to fight another day. Interesting that the top three are all the first installment in their particular series.
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
That none of them are part
twos. Yeah,
or anything.
Yeah.
So that's encouraging.
Yeah. But
I think
the global is just going to be tough.
Yeah, I think we need more information on what's happening globally, and we'll see some more things. But I think we have problems there.
Yeah, clearly on that one. And then Jurassic, I'll just touch on. It's gonna top probably 800, 900 million, a little below 1 billion, but certainly a big success there. But Richard, we're early August here. We're only gonna have 3 movies that made over $700 million at this point this year. Because Superman probably won't get there. If Fantastic Four continues on the way it's going, that ain't going to get there either. I mean, that we're not, possible, but it doesn't look likely at this point. So,
And the only other contenders for that are Avatar and Zootopia.
Wicked could Wicked too. I
Oh
should
yeah,
say.
Wicked too.
So yeah, but those aren't those are all November, December movies. So we're gonna be in November with only 3 films that made over $700 million globally this year, which is that's that's not great.
I mean, listen, you can crunch the numbers a lot of ways, and you can look at them a lot of things. Like there's many things to tell you. There's warning signs out here for box office, and people should do something about it.
Yeah,
Doing the same thing is not going to be good. And just
yeah,
saying and every 6 weeks having some movie break through a little bit. Having every 6 weeks having Lilo come on is not the business is saved.
yeah. Curious number. So a good summer. We'll do our end of summer look back in a few weeks here, of course. But the summer's down to a plus. Was it plus 10%? No, plus the summer's down to plus 5% over last year. Like so. And by the way, in last summer, right now, last year, this time we had Deadpool still doing crazy numbers. It ends with Us opens this upcoming weekend next year. Twisters was still doing well. So this summer is going to basically be flat with last summer, which is really quite considering how bad last May was.
Yeah.
This didn't even have that this summer, so that's again, this 25 wasn't the savior of the summer movie box office that I think people were like, oh yeah, it's gonna be much better next year, and it's like, it really wasn't that much better. The curious thing to kind of observe.
Yeah, and 26. We talked about this last week. You got
26 has more. I looked at it. I'm going to break this down in the future wake up edition. So it's not as bad as you. I looked at it because you got me thinking about it. You said it last week, and we'll put a pin in that, Richard, because I do want to discuss that. But we'll break that out at the end of the summer. So for sure.
Anything else here?
We'll give a shout out to Together from Neon, Allison Brie and Dave Franco, opening to $11 million over the 5-day. Neon indie horror, so not a bad showing, kind of in the usual studio realm without paying the studio marketing budget. So a little shout out, a Sundance movie from this past year. So a little shout out to the Neon folks. But
I've heard original film, a film from the indie world. Opening to how many figures is that? 8 figures?
Over 8 figures. Yeah.
So nice work, Neon.
Yeah,
breaking up the summer with that. So
exactly. So, Richard, you're going off to a little rest time, R&R. Is that what we got going on?
I will be gone for the next 2 weeks. So I will put my thoughts about Freakier Friday, and
weapons
in a vault for you to remove next week with whoever joins you for this slot. But I'll be back in 3 weeks to what we have that. Well, I guess we can review how our summer predictions.
Our predictions will be back when we get back. Yeah. Yes, so stay tuned for that, and I'll be gearing up for TIFF. So we'll see what movies are on your radar for the Toronto International Film Festival as well. So
before we go, Abby asks, "What are our predictions for Freakier Friday?" I don't have a number, but I think it's going to do pretty well.
I'm very high in it. The tracking, it's somewhere. I think it was. Oh boy, look, I want to say somewhere near 40 million, something like that. But it's it's pretty high for that. Higher than what at least I would have thought if you were asking just point blank what it was. So I hope for it. I hope it can become again a film that maybe takes it's hard as a sequel. Kind of they're just running it back. Richard, does it feel fresh? Does it feel those kinds of questions? Which I don't we'll see about that. But never underestimate millennial nostalgia. Or even Gen X if you want to go back to the Jodie Foster movie that that I grew up on. Based
on a book by Mary Rogers, daughter of Richard Rogers, Rogers and Hammerstein.
So, okay, all right.
Traces roots back to the beginning of American.
Look at that, to this crossing generations. So let's get that projection up even higher. So and I'm gonna go see Weapons today. I'm very excited to see that the movie from New Line. So that's gonna be excited about the horror genre there, which is also tracking pretty big. So hopefully, a nice big weekend to power through the last couple of weeks. I don't think you're not going to miss too much, Richard, when you're on vacation. There's not, and after that weekend, there's not too much going on. So.
All right. Well, be taking note from afar there. So
give us the report from from your vacation destination. What movie posters are you seeing when you're over there? Take some notes for us. So yeah,
exactly. All right. Well, have fun. Good luck, Hollywood.
yes.
And see you in a few.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Take care.